So, this recording will be about my stay in the 3 mental hospitals I was in. And this is really hard for me to talk to, but I really haven't talked to my friends about it that much because it's not easy talking about the place you were in when you were considered basically insane. It's going to be more than one part because I was in one place for a year. The other place before that one was for 3 months, I believe. And that was before I went into the actual place that did help me. But, the place I was in is called Four Winds. It's not a good place. When I went in there, it was very hard because I admitted myself, and I remember sitting in their waiting room to be processed, which I already knew I was going to be admitted because I had tried to kill myself, I guess you could say. I really wasn't planning on letting myself die because I didn't cut deep enough, but at the time I thought I wanted to be dead, and they knew that. But I remember sitting in the waiting room with my mom and looking around, and this place I was in, all the places I had been in except for one, they don't have the psych ward atmosphere. The only one that did was the last one I was in for 2 weeks, which was Cornell Westchester Hospital. It was like an actual psych ward, which was the scariest place in hell, and I actually had friends. My best friend and my ex-boyfriend, who I'm still friends with, but at the time we weren't even together, he came with her to visit me there because they wanted to make sure I was okay. But I'm talking about the first one, which is Four Winds. I was sitting in the waiting room in this place, it looked like a doctor's office. Not even. It looked better than that. The whole facility consisted of more than one house. And I was sitting in there, and I just looked at my mom and I said, "Can we leave?" And she's like, "No, you can't leave." Which I know was very hard for my mom to say because she didn't really want me to go in there. And it took me a lot to convince her to allow me to go in there, even though I could go in there on my own because I was 18. But it was scary because, after they process you, they bring you to this building, and the moment you walk in those doors, you look around and you see all these people sitting around or going about their business who are staying there for the same problems, and you're just thinking, what the hell did I do? Unless you're actually in there because you were forced, but I wasn't. And I couldn't stop. All I wanted to do was break down in a corner and cry and not move for the whole time I was there. And the first thing they do is to bring you in this room. They take everything away from you, search it. Actually, they took all my luggage and my pocketbooks and stuff, everything but my clothes, and they took it and searched it without me around and brought it back to the building and gave it to me. And I was there. I didn't get them in until like 6, 7 o'clock at night because the emergency rooms take forever. But the first thing they do is a full body search. They make you, and I think, it's humiliating for guys, but I think it's worse for girls. Because guys, they can keep their boxers on, and, it's like being in a bathing suit for them in a way. But girls, you have to take off everything but your underwear. You have to take off your bra, or you have to put your hands over your bra and lift up the bottom and then lift down the top. And just cover the private areas a little bit. And some of them don't even allow you to do that. And I'm not comfortable with that kind of stuff. I never have been, so it was really hard for me. And then they look over your whole body, every single inch of it. And they write down every single tattoo you have, every single scar on your body, so they have a reference, especially for cutters, which was why I admitted myself. I started cutting 2 days beforehand. And they write it all down, and then they, the next day, that same night, they kind of bring you up to your room, let you get settled in, and then some people, they probably don't leave their room the first night. I wasn't allowed. I had to be put on 24-hour watch, so I wasn't allowed to leave my room until the next day. I could only go to therapy and stuff. They finally decided earlier on in the day to let me out because I was going insane sitting in my room with nothing to do. and just walls to stare at. So they let me out. But it was hard because, you have people coming in and out wondering who you are. People who don't even belong in your room. They say they're friends of your roommate, which is funny because they're not. Most of the time they just are nosy and want to see what the newest meat is. And then the next day you have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes earlier, and go to this group morning session. And you're the new person, so everybody wants to know who you are. And I just remember being so scared. I didn't think... I knew I needed to be there, but I didn't want to be there anymore. I just wanted to go home, and I would have been perfectly fine going... I wouldn't have been okay going home. But I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to be there anymore. I saw it kind of sets in. It's like, oh, it's all fun and dandy when you decide, oh, I'm going to admit myself in the hospital, I need to do this. And then you get there and you're looking around and you're like, what have I done? And I remember the feeling I used to get in there over the 3-month period. Because, you become acquainted with people, you have your little group of friends, as you call it. How I wasn't invisible because I did have friends there, I did talk to them, but I felt like I was the one that they didn't want around, which was ridiculous because all of them liked me, but you know how there's always the people before you who they want to talk to more because I guess they have things that you don't have that are more attractive. I don't know. And I'm not talking about looks, I'm just talking about personality-wise. I guess people can conform to the status quo and then they're liked better. I was never like that. I never conformed. I tried at one time and it didn't work. They saw right through it. So it didn't work. And I'm not talking about trying to conform in the hospital. I'm talking about in high school. It just didn't work. It backfired horribly on me. But, so really when I was in there, I felt very alone. I mean, my mom was almost there every single day. And especially after you remember how I said they take down every single cut that you have on your body and scar and tattoo? Well, they use that as a reference, and one night I decided to go and cut myself in my room, in the bathroom actually, like 13 times on my leg and arm, and my roommates saw it and they got really worried and they told the staff, not realizing what they were going to do, and they felt horrible afterwards because they locked me in the quiet room for like a week or two. I think it was 2 weeks, my mom said, because she was trying to get them to let me out because I was going insane in there, but they wouldn't let me out, so I was in there for 2 weeks straight. But you know what, I'm gonna dedicate a whole 10 minutes to that. But also what they do when you get in there is they won't give you any meds that you're supposed to be taking, so I had to go 2 days without my Ritalin because the doctors are idiots, and if I don't have my Ritalin in my system, I go nuts. And then once they do start giving you meds, they give you tons of meds. They drug you up. The whole time you're there, you're basically drugged, unless you refuse to take it, and then if you refuse to stop taking medications that make you so tired that it's pointless, the therapy is pointless because you can't think, they take away your privileges, like going out, being able to go out into the courtyard. And I didn't smoke at the time, so they didn't have any reason to let me out. Usually, if they take those privileges away, they allow smokers to go out for 5 minutes and smoke a cigarette. Not me. And also I was confined for a while to the foyer area. I wasn't allowed in the living room. I wasn't allowed anywhere else but that foyer area, which, you would think, okay, well, at least you're allowed where there's couches and stuff. It doesn't matter, it's still one stupid area. And my mom was there every day with me almost, but I really was having, I wanted my mom there. I loved my mom, and I still do. If it wasn't for my mom, I would probably be dead, but it was hard having her see me in there because I couldn't believe